Non-fiction books that changed my life, part 2. You can check out part 1 over here or here, one of the two, or on the playlist that's going to be in the description down below. These are books that personally influenced me and changed me as a person. Doesn't mean they're amazing books, but they're books that I found very important and changed the way I think and the way I operate. Let's get right into it. The first one we're going to be talking about is How to Blow Up a Pipeline by Andreas Malm. This is a book I actually read at the beginning of this year. It was the best book I read in January. I don't know if I have a whole video about this book, but I definitely have videos where I talk about this book at the very least. I know I have a short, I think, talking about this book in depth, but this book was the book that really made me think about and actually acknowledge the link between capitalism and environmentalism, and how capitalism has made it so it is impossible for us to look after our planet. Capitalism has been the thing that has made our planet die, and we need to address that. And also it made me really understand, well, I kind of was already of this opinion, but it kind of made me reinforced and gave me concrete examples about how maybe peaceful protest isn't always the best solution, or perhaps we need to do more than peacefully protest if we want to achieve the goals we're looking to achieve, which is revolution and ending oppression of the people globally. It gives you a great example of Nelson Mandela and the Spear of the Nation in South Africa, and how they were so important to actually ending apartheid and ending apartheid rule, and how that's been whitewashed from Nelson Mandela, or how this is not the way it's described, but MLK used to carry heat with him, if you know what I mean. And there was a whole section about an interview he had with a journalist, where the journalist sat on his piece and was like, "Oh, sorry about that. I keep that thing on me." And how people had to convince Martin Luther King that Martin, stop carrying your piece with you because you might get in trouble with the police. And this is me extrapolating from that. The police were probably one of the reasons why he had to carry that with him. And yeah, it's just such a good, and it's really well written. I know there's a movie, but I didn't watch the movie. I don't know if the movie is fiction, non-fiction. I don't really know, but it's a very, very good book. A book that I will probably come back to multiple times. I want to read more Andreas Malm as well. Just really, really great book. Highly recommend. If genuinely a book I would say, hey, go pick up the book from the description down below, where all the books will be also. Up next is Witness in Palestine. I'm not going to go into great depth about this because I've made multiple videos about this book, but this book is about Anna Baltzer, who was in the West Bank on multiple occasions around and during the Second Intifada. And it is her basically describing and interviewing and finding the lot of the Palestinian people, and even the things she experiences at the hands of the Israelis, over 20 years ago. And it's infuriating, it is angering, it is, just thinking about it, what the Palestinians go through. It really was one where I was already pro-Palestine. I was already doing stuff for Palestine for years and years and years. And I read this last year and I was like, I've got to lock in. I've really, really got to lock in even more. Even obviously, sorry, just thinking about this book, just remembering this book makes me angry and frustrated, the things that are described and you read in this book. I'm going to move on. Up next is Culture and Imperialism by Edward Said. Kind of tangentially related, I guess, to the previous book, because Said, brilliant Palestinian philosopher, activist, author, writer, linguist, so many things. And most people talk about his magnus opum, which is Orientalism. And I love Orientalism as well. It's a very important, maybe his most important book. But Culture and Imperialism really flicked a switch for me as well. It was one where I was you kind of know things like manufacturing consent. Noam Chomsky's book, also Manufacturing Consent, is pretty good. But you know about things like manufacturing consent, and you're aware, you watch the movies, and you're why are all the bad guys Arabs, guys? Why are all the bad guys Russians when you're watching movies from the 70s and the 80s? And Said goes into such great detail and understanding, explaining how imperialism is so linked to culture, how the parts of our culture are used either directly or indirectly to justify imperialism. And it's like he gives examples of the Austens and Rudyard Kipling, and it's so good, so smart, so intelligent. It's such a well-crafted book as well. Like, it's one where I struggle reading non-fiction. This book, like the Andreas Malm book, this entire thing's about non-fiction anyway. The language wasn't, like, this one in particular, it was academic, but it was something I could really get my teeth into and understand and get. And I come back to it all the time when I'm talking to people. I'm like, Culture and Imperialism, you should go off and read that. Like, obviously, like I said, Orientalism is his magnus opum, but Culture and Imperialism, I think, is just as good. Like, it's part of that Palestine trilogy that people called through of his books. Such a good book. And the final book, a little bit sentimental and a bit short as well. I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. This book, it's less so the book, because like it's a good read. You know, if you're feeling robust, you should maybe read this book. There's definitely trigger warnings with this book, but this video I made on this book, I'll put the screenshot if I can find it, was the first video of mine that I think did well. It got like 500 or 600 views, maybe more, and it was the thumbnail because I was trying to copy the book. And it's not the best video, I don't think. I think this video is probably even better, even though I didn't even have my proper lighting set up for this video because I'm recording this late at night. So I've not done my proper lighting rig, which looks much nicer than this video does right now. But that video was the first one where people like clicked on my channel. And I don't know if you're a viewer, if you're watching this and that was the video where you discovered my channel, let me know in the comments down below. But it's the first one I was like, oh, I could do this YouTube thing. Look, this channel doesn't make me money. It makes me a pittance. I'll tell you that. But I really enjoy doing it. And making that video and seeing the views in that video, seeing people respond to that, I was like, oh, I can actually make videos that 600 people like watching. And that's awesome. Maybe 200 of the 600 liked watching it. But people like watching the videos. And that video was the one that spurred me to keep doing this. I think over a year on from when that video came out. And sure, I'm only on about 2,000 subscribers, but I was on like 100 then. So it's grown so much, and hey, maybe we'll continue to grow. But yeah, that book stays with me because of that video. So it's less of the book, but more the video I made with it. So those are 4 life-changing books for me. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of those books, or if you are interested in reading them. What are some books that have been life-changing for you in the non-fiction realm? Get to the fiction realm again. Like I said, you can watch episode 1 either clicking above me or in the playlist I'm going to put down below. Before I sign off, I want to say a special thank you to my members. Members get access to extra videos. We have a brand new tier, which is part of the movie club, where we watch movie adaptations of books and we read the books as well and we kind of compare them. There's also the book club tier. There's the general tier where you can get access to everything. You can join from as little as £1 a month, so you can click that join button either below this video or on my channel. Even if you didn't get to that, if you don't want to become a member, thank you for getting to this part of the video. Comment Toad down below, because I'm looking at my Krogunk, which is like a frog Pokemon. He's my roommate, apparently. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share this video with a friend or family member, and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I hope you read a life-changing book.